In today's video, I'm going to go over why I journal for both my personal, professional and creative lives to make sure I'm staying organized and true to my best self, as well as all of the gear that I use to document everything so I can keep track of all of my priorities. So strap in and let's get started with why I journal in the first place. You know, the one thing that I've learned in life so far is that nothing changes if nothing changes. It's so easy to get stuck in a rut, whether that's professionally, personally, or creatively, and it can become really difficult to understand what you should be doing or where you should go from there. But this right here is my secret. I've been keeping a daily journal for over 5 years now, and it's transformed me in ways that I could never have imagined when I first started. And today, I want to talk all about it. So journaling can be one of those things that's pretty daunting at first, but in today's video I want to talk about why I do it and then the how behind each why to achieve it. And slowly we'll build up a weekly and daily view of how I use this notebook to plan and execute on many different things that I have ongoing in my life at any given time. So why do I journal? Well, the primary reason that I journal on a daily basis is for self-reflection. As people, self-reflection isn't something that comes super naturally to us. We might think that we're quite good at it, but when was the last time that we sat down and really thought about how something made us feel? So journaling is a key way for me to get in touch with my emotions and find out what is it in my life that's really giving me energy right now and that I want to drive towards. So how do I set up my journal for self-reflection on a daily basis? Well, pretty simple. I practice something called morning pages. So I'll write today's date at the top. Today is Monday, 17th of March. And the first thing that I'll do, my first section, will just be called morning pages. In here, it will be pretty simple. I'll just start with, how am I feeling this morning? This could be anything, how I'm feeling about the day ahead, how I felt about things that happened yesterday, how I slept, whether I dreamt about anything particularly interesting, what I'm looking forward to in the day. Really, I'm just tapping into how I'm feeling in that exact moment to kickstart my day and understand what it is that I really want to focus on going forwards. I also pay attention to my body. Am I training too hard? Am I pushing too hard? Am I doing something that's really not good for me or that doesn't feel right? This is the place to really understand exactly what is going on with me. How am I? Now, after I've done that, there are some other important sections that I think it's very useful that I do every day. So my second big reason for keeping a daily journal is all to do with accountability. It's very easy to get sucked into my 9 to 5. I've got daily tasks that need to be done, and I can find that I'm not really progressing with anything that I really care about in my spare time. I need to have a plan for what I'm going to do with my evenings and weekends before I reach the evening or weekend, so that I don't have to think about what it is. I can just start and get on with it. And that's what this section is all about. I have a daily section with a to-do list. It's pretty simple. I'll go down and I'll write out my to-do list. So I have a section here on my daily page all about accountability. An important thing that I do with my to-do list is that I have one priority for the day. That's the thing that's going to occupy the most headspace, and it's the thing that I want to get done above all else. I'll only have one priority, and it's good just to focus your mind on, okay, I've got all of these things to do, but what is it that's most important for me to do right now? That'll be my priority for the day. The final thing that I want to practice as part of my daily journaling is gratitude. There are so many things to be grateful for, and in fact, keeping a gratitude journal is scientifically proven to make you happier in the long run. There's lots of kind of mumbo jumbo behind it and popular psychology, but for me what it boils down to is I'm going to write out 3 things I'm grateful for every single day. And what that does is it just makes me think about all of the good things that happened to me today. When you spend more time thinking about all of the good things that are happening to you, all of the things that you're grateful for, you're naturally going to feel better and happier about your life right now. And that is important. So the rest of this page here will be about gratitude. I'll have this final section at the bottom left, and I can just fill that in with miscellaneous things that I might be tracking throughout the day. Those could include sleep, drinking water, or anything that I'm doing on an ongoing basis. So that's what my daily page looks like. At the top here, all to do with how I'm feeling, how am I, tap into some self-reflection. The left-hand side here, my to-do, with just one priority that I'm definitely going to make sure I get done today that will make me feel better about what I've got going on my plate. Finally, a little section all about gratitude. Think of those 3 things that I'm really grateful for in my life right now. They could be anything, but make sure that you really do actually feel grateful for them and have a think about all of the good things that happen to you. Finally, tracking down the bottom here with just miscellaneous tasks. Now, that's all well and good, isn't it? Tracking on a daily basis. But as I was doing this over time, I realized I needed a way to aggregate this into a week. I needed to have a larger view of what's going on so I can track things over time. And that's when I came up with having a weekly spread. So what does this weekly spread look like? Well, I'll write out the week at the top here. I'll have a tracker up the top. And this is where I track things over a weekly basis. This will be different for everyone, but what I've boiled it down to is I normally feel pretty good about my day if I've eaten well, if I've worked out, and if I've done something creative. And so that's what I'm going to track. I'll just have eat well, work out, and creative down here. And then I'll just have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then I'll just draw a little box for each one, just like this. And exactly what I'll do is at the end of each day, I'll open it up and I'll just tick the ones that I achieved. Then at the end of the week, I'll see exactly how well I've done. And I'll give myself a little score out of 21, just to let myself know exactly what's been going on. And I found that it boils down to, this keeps me more accountable. It makes me more excited about doing the things I want to do. And essentially it's gamifying me doing something productive for my life. The next section on my weekly spread, I'll have a schedule. I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is where I will define what workouts I'm doing for the week. So I'm a big runner. I'll have a run on most of these days and I'll just jot down exactly what sessions I'm doing. And it's just so I can keep track of when I'm going to the gym, when I'm running, and exactly what I'm doing. Pretty simple. I'll then put the days that I'm going to be in the office on this so I can keep track of when I'll be doing that. And then any extracurricular activities, dinner with friends, things that I'm doing at the weekend, trips that I'm going on, places that I'm going to. This also gives me a key advantage. It's always good to have your evenings and weekends planned in advance. So when it gets to my free time, I know what I want to do to make me feel good about it. This is going to be a key thing right here, because if I look at my weekend and I realize, oh, I've got my workout scheduled, but I don't have any social activities, I can just go and schedule some. So it's never taking me by surprise. On the right hand section here, I will dedicate this to something that's top of mind for me right now. Now, for me, what that means is weight. I've recently switched up my training schedule. I'm doing a lot more gym work than I normally would do, and so I just want to keep an eye on my weight. I'm happy if I'm gaining a little bit of weight because I want to put muscle on. I just want to make sure I'm eating enough to maintain my weight at least and have great workouts in the gym and when I'm running. So throughout the week, I'll weigh myself at the beginning of each day and just jot in how much I'm weighing, just for peace of mind, so that I can understand I'm eating the right amount. There's nothing worse than underfueling your body, especially as an athlete. Finally, this bottom section here will be all about weekly goals. We had our to-do list and our priority on a daily basis, but I'll set some goals for the week. I'll normally have one around what kind of YouTube video I'm going to make, a YouTube goal, some kind of photography goal normally, and some kind of personal thing as well. So putting all of that together, these are things that I track on a weekly basis and my weekly page spread. I find that it's really functional, makes me productive, and makes me feel good about what it is I'm doing across my week. So a massive thumbs up. And then on this left hand side, this is my daily spread and what I focus on a daily basis. The other main function is writing down ideas. In the back section of the notebook, so at the back, I'll have an idea journal, and this is for all of my ideas and brainstorming. Here you can see I wanted to do a short form series about 31 different photo tips, and so I'll just have a brainstorming session and write down every single tip that I could think of making a video about here. So I've got it all tracked and I can tick them off. Likewise, anytime I'm planning a video, this was why I finally bought the DJI Pocket 3, one of the cameras I'm filming on right now, and I just went through and scripted it. What's the intro going to be? What are the points going to be? Why did I finally buy one, etc. Just make sure I've got everything here. The most important thing is that you write down an idea as soon as you have it, so it's logged away and saved. Eventually, what I'll do is I separate these out in the back of the journal so I can open up Notion on my laptop and I can make a note of every single idea I jotted down here and keep an electronic record of it. But in the moment when I'm having those ideas, I'll note them down so I've got it all preserved and just noted so I don't forget. I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to having the ideas themselves, 99% of the ideas I normally have are when I'm out running in the morning. So I go for my run, I've got an hour and a half to really just think about anything really. I'm just in a flow state, pounding the pavements, and in my mind I'm just thinking about what it is that I want to create, what I've got particular feelings or passions about, things that I want to create something around. And then at the end of the run, I'll just come back, and if I've had any ideas, the first thing I do, pop open this journal at the back, write them down, and everything is catalogued here so that I don't lose it. I journal at least once per day, first thing in the morning, and then I might do an evening entry as well just before bed to fill in some of these check boxes and tick boxes and make sure that I'm up to date. I can't tell you how useful this has been. This has been the #1 tool for me, being able to sort out my headspace, start a YouTube channel, be productive, have a great work-life balance. I keep track of all of my workouts, I'm healthy, I'm in a good space of mind, and it's just been something that I am really passionate about, because you can really turn your life around in the same way that I did if you want to, just through using a notebook, which is crazy. The best thing about all of this is that it's basically free. I mean, we'll go into the gear that I use, but you know, there's no fancy app, there's no subscription service, there's nothing that I'm paying for ridiculously out of pocket. It really just is, I sink some time into it and I get a massive return on investment. What do I use in terms of gear? Well, let's talk about it. So let's talk about pens first. There's probably 3 different types of pens. There's a fountain pen. I like fountain pens, but I don't use them for this simply because normally the ink smudges a little bit too much for my liking, and I take this with me everywhere, so I want it to be able to get wet and still kind of survive. Fountain pen doesn't do it for me. Secondly, we have ballpoint pens. I love these pens actually from Muji. I normally get the 0.7 thickness. I find them really good. You can buy refills as well from Muji, and I quite like this as a pen. But one thing you will notice is that my spreads tend to be a little bit more graphic. I like kind of putting clouds around things and doing titles, etc. And so what suits me best is fine liners. I've tried 3 types. I started with the classic Stabilo, this yellow fine liner that everyone seems to have used kind of once. Great, really like it. Kind of good nib and nice experience using it. The one thing I would say about this, not particularly durable, runs out of ink quickly, and the nib kind of gets frayed. So if you can't find any of the others, this is great in my eyes, but some of the other ones I'm about to go over are much better. This was my pen of choice for a long time. It's a Micron. I went for the 0.3 thickness, which is pretty good. I love this. It has a really deep, dark, rich ink to it. It's archival ink quality. But what I will say is that the number 3 nib really kind of wears down over time and becomes far too short unless you're literally using it like upright like this, so it goes right on the nib. That brings me to what I'm currently using, which is actually a Staedtler pigment liner. This is the 1.0. It is a much thicker nib than all of the other ones so far, but I found that it can be quite versatile in terms of if you press harder it goes thicker, if you press lighter it goes thinner. So a pretty good pen overall. I've loved it. It's lasted me most of this notebook, so a pretty good pen to start with, and pretty cheap as well. I think I paid just £2 or something for this. Obviously, the other key component of what I'm going to need for journaling is a notebook. This is actually just a cheaper one from Amazon. It's a brand called Stationery Island. I personally prefer having a notebook that I can go through quickly. I'm not particularly sentimental about them. I see them more as a tool rather than like an archive of my life, like some people. And so I don't mind if I kind of wear through the notebook and then just go on to a new one. I think it's quite nice in that respect. So it doesn't have that many pages and I kind of motor through these, but again, it's about £8 online, so nothing to really worry about. Finally, I do have this. Now this is a traveler's notebook and it's really quite cool. So it comes in like a little, this looks like a pirate notebook here. And within it, you can put different notebooks. So it's got like a function to have three. I've got 3 different notebooks within this kind of notebook cover, which works out really well for me. I've got a bunch of different, I've got like a weekly schedule one, I've got like a plain one right here with just some dotted stuff, and then I've got a completely plain one that I can just write through as a journal as well. Now, there are some benefits and some drawbacks to this one in particular. I normally switch over to this when I'm traveling or when I just need a daily one to bring with me and I'm not bringing a bag or anything. But obviously you don't have as much space. So when it comes to things like my morning pages and exploring exactly what it is that I want to talk about or self-reflect on, I don't have as much space to kind of elaborate as I would do in a big one. So I bring this with me on a trip, a nice little travel journal, but this is the main daily driver. And that's it. That's how I journal, what I use, and how I get set up to really kind of make myself my most productive self, track all of the good habits that I am doing and encourage myself to do more of them, and obviously keep track of all the things that I've got going on in my life. As someone who runs a lot, creates a lot of content, has a 9-to-5, and maintains friendships and personal relationships as well at the same time, it can kind of be tricky to make room for all of those things. So this is the #1 tool that I use to get the job done. And really, I've kind of refined it over time and I can't think of a better way to go about it. So let me know if you have any questions in the comment section down below. Hope you enjoyed this little insight into my life and what I use to kind of keep track of everything and keep organized. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you. If not, if you enjoyed this video, please do make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I come out with a new video every week, just like this. And it'll be great to have you along for the ride. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.